All right, Dame Dash. Glad to have you back to Cam Capone News.
What's poppin'?
Hey, nothing much, man. How things been for you lately?
It's been great. Everything's going according to plan.
That's what's up, man. So I'm gonna get right into it. You know, you've been making a lot of news lately. You know, been on the Breakfast Club. You and Cameron had some things going on, man. You know, what's your thoughts generally been on everything that's been going on these past few weeks?
Well, my plan was to clear my debt and then launch all my family offices, new ventures. And there's a lot of them, and they're with major people. They're with major people. And, I kind of wanted to see if the Breakfast Club and certain platforms, how they were going to make me represent me as related to the bankruptcy, and then how they were going to look at all the new announcements that we were making. And I knew that everything that I do, they always downplay it, they always discredit it. I don't know why. And I had to make sure they wouldn't do that anymore. So this announcement would revolt to the rest of the corporate world. They don't care. No big, you know what I mean? It's more urban because Revolt is broke. Revolt has a lot of debt. Revolt can't really pay for original programming. They have to pay their bank debt. My company, American New, has no debt. And, they were like bankruptcy shaming me, even though it's like a good business move, and not most people can owe $25 million based on taxes, because that means they made a lot of money. They wouldn't let me explain that the reason why I owe taxes is because my accountant, Barry Clarberg, just simply didn't pay them. And I didn't know, but they just kept cutting me off, and their intention was for me to look bad. So, I thought the only way to stop this would be to go on the show, have them do all the things that I know they're going to do. And then if they're not accountable and change, then I got to hit them with a lawsuit. I got to, because they keep compromising everything, all the businesses that, right here, all the businesses, thank you, Nikki Liggy, the white lesbian Aaliyah. She's here with us as well, helping me out. Let's put it right there. Yeah. So, and then as related to the revolt thing, again, I've been trying to buy Revolt for a long time, but the price that they're trying to sell it for is not like Revolt has no assets. If you liquidate it, there's nothing. All it has is a big debt. And the only reason why I wanted Revolt was that contract for carriage. I was probably going to change the name, just like Byron Allen did with the Black News Channel. I was trying to buy the Black News Channel. So I feel like, they, not DeTavio, but his man Dion was the one that volunteered for me to be the chairman. But the only reason why I was going to put my content on Revolt was so that I could get proof of concept of how much money that I would make. And then also I have my own technology that we get our full CPM. So based on the engagement, I would be able to justify taking that, that big debt. And it's allegedly, I think it's about $80 to $70 million. And DeTavio runs Common. He has the Common. So if you understand stocks, there's like preferred, common. So if a company sells, the debt gets paid, preferred gets paid first, and what's left is common. So the only way that the common can make any money is if it sells for like 200 million, which is what they were soliciting it for, but it's just not worth it. The multiple right now in the TV industry is 4 or less because it's declining. They wanted 10, and that wasn't, anything that you could traditionally get bankrolled. So ultimately, the bank that gave them the loan or invested or whatever got bought by BlackRock. So I know BlackRock doesn't care about a $90 million or $80 million debt. They just want that shit off their books. But if that happens, DeTavio representing the Common won't make $1. You understand what I'm saying? So he was tricking
Yeah.
me. He was tricking me, allegedly, to put my content on there, telling me there's a pathway to ownership. But all he was going to do is inflate his numbers so it would justify selling it for a certain amount to someone else. Because that's what they did before. They told us we could buy it. And when you are going to buy a company, it's not, you don't buy it with your money. It's about having the ability to raise the money. So you get an exclusive, and then you get 30 days, and then you go and get with certain people, and if you got it, you buy it. They were giving the exclusives at a price. Remember when Richard Lou was supposed to have bought it? What happened to that? Remember that?
Yeah.
They made that announcement that it was bought. It's because they gave him a 30-day exclusive, but at that multiple, impossible to close, especially with nothing. They have no assets. They don't make original programming. They license all their shit. Why? Because they can't afford to make original content, which is why they were trying to get mine. But what they did before, what it appears allegedly, is they made us put all these offers in, made me fly around, because I didn't do it in my name, because there's a group. So if someone was leading the group and I was in the background trying to identify the money. So it takes a lot. Legal fees, one part of the group, best lawyers, and then it was only to inflate numbers so they could show that it was worth a certain amount, so that they could, to me it looks like, so they could sell the people that gave them the debt, I think it's HSB, to BlackRock. It was all bullshit to me. It was a waste of time. And that shit is expensive. So I don't appreciate him keep doing. And he didn't call me the first go around. That was a while ago. He called me recently and told me, yo, you still want to buy Revolt? Knowing that, and when I looked at the books and I brought it to a very, very credible financial institution, and they said this shit ain't even worth the debt. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even call them back after I looked at the books. And the only reason why I'm saying it is because he publicly said that I wasn't trying to buy. There was no pathway for ownership. So this is the only reason why I'm discussing it, because he, again, they was with me. Then Cam admitted it on his television show. And to this day, Revolt, after I sent them the demand letter, they're still playing that shit. So my intention is, I'll give them a couple more days to, get their shit together. But I'm a file. I sent them the demand letter, and it is what it is. You're not going to compromise my reputation. Plus, it just seems like Datavio's only representing what's in the best interest of the common stock. So if anybody from BlackRock or I'll take the debt, but I need the contract, and Datavio got to go. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly, that would be my condition, because they've been it up. His salary is too high. All they're worried about is protecting their salaries. But Datavio, if you would have worked with me, I would have kept you on. Pause. But don't ever think that Revolt's worth more than American New. We don't have any debt. Revolt's broke. American New is not. We have no debt. So how the you going to be telling me what to do? Or I'm going to be waiting for you to give me permission to make a announcement about who's the chairman. When my content is on Revolt staff ain't doing shit, but programming it. I'm the chairman of my staff when I'm on Revolt. So I am the chairman, but y'all volunteered that. But I only think you were doing that to line me up to play jokes with Cameron. And, I don't think I'm going to. See, the problem is with me, as a dude that grew up in the street, it's hard for me to go into a courtroom and start suing people. But it's not hard for me to punch someone in the face or want to shoot them and no shit like that. And that's where the problem is. You have to deal with things legally. So my murder, if the way I feel I'm punishing you, just for me, is a lawsuit. Because if I don't, you're going to keep doing it. And hopefully we can resolve it, but we'll let a judge decide, and a whole lot of legal fees. And I don't think Revolt can afford it. BlackRock can, pause, but Revolt can't. They can't even afford to make a TV show. Scripted, which is why you never saw it, allegedly.
That breaks down everything that happened with the chairman, and so to
also
clarify,
it breaks down the reason why I'm suing the Breakfast Club. But I also sent the demand letter to pause, the Chris Brown lawyer and everyone that was in that whole circle and scene for $200 million. I also sent a demand letter to the lawyer of my baby mothers. I'm not suing my baby mothers, but he was representing them both, and he did a lot of. So I sent him one too as well. And I got a couple more. So again, all the people that have been with me, and I think it's been illegal the way they've been with me, I'm not going to take it to the street because I'm not in the street. I look at what the President Donald Trump does. He sues people. And a lot of times I've been seeing him winning based on the misrepresentation of, I guess, who they say he is. Whatever reasons, they paying him. So I'm just doing what the president does. President filed for bankruptcy 8 times, then it's all right for me to do it. He's a billionaire, so then I could be a billionaire. He's the president, so then I could be the president. He says what he wants, so I could say what I want. He sues people, so I could sue people. It's the American way. And that's what people had been doing to me, but I wasn't doing that because I'm just not that guy. I'm still thinking I'm in the street. We're going to handle it in the street. Once the guys I hustle with started suing me with false allegations, then that would be Jay-Z and Biggs on behalf of Rockefeller Inc., then I was like, yo, this is the game. No more, we're not doing street rules no more. You know, we're doing lawful rules, and that's what I got to do.
Let me go back to the Breakfast Club real quick. You know, you went on there, it went crazy. You know, were you kind of surprised at how they came at you? Because I kind of expected them to, like, you know, like give you a honest chance to speak, and it didn't really seem like they were doing that. They you know, I was definitely kind of surprised.
Well, just because they're supposed to be journalists, and Charlamagne, who allegedly had a rape case that we never bring up, was cutting me off and being aggressive, and because he traditionally says bad things about me, I was hoping that he would definitely respect the journalism aspect of it, but he did not. He insulted me. I showed him the documentary, the docuseries. He still said I was lying. He even said I had on dirty sneakers and admitted that he was lying. But the thing is, we on the radio. So if you say I got dirty sneakers playing or not and they can't see it, then they're going to think I got on dirty sneakers. And it's going to get into the algorithm. Game has on dirty sneakers. I don't want to hear that when I got on new sneakers. What I didn't like is that they were lying. I didn't like that no matter what they saw, they were saying the opposite and putting a negative slant on it and not celebrating it. And what I really didn't like is the way they had interviewed Ben Shapiro, someone that triggers our culture constantly. They gave him the utmost respect. They let him talk. I mean, it was almost like they were kissing his ass, the same way they were kissing Lior's ass. And I want to know why they would let someone that we consider offensive, and not me being a person that's only tried to help our culture, why they give them so much respect? Why do they let them talk without interrupting them? And why they don't question anything that person says? Why would they do that to somebody black? And why you always wearing them paper planes? So if you are working for somebody and you know I have an issue with someone, at least, you know, business issue, and you keep downplaying all my shit and wearing the clothes that man makes or his company makes, I'm gonna think it's coming from him, pause. And I'm thinking he's doing it intentionally to be like, yeah, I got power and I got literally, and I can make them talk to you, and I'm gonna wear a picture of his face on his chest as if I'm talking to him. So every time I hear something publicly said about me on one of those platforms, I always think they're speaking for him. I always think those are his words. When I say her, I mean Charlamagne, but when I say him, I'm talking about Jay. You know, and he's cunning, and he likes to troll, and he's gonna troll in different ways. So me thinking of all angles, I'm like, so a dude's talking bad about me, challenging me when he shouldn't for no reason, with a picture of this certain person's face on, then that's that person telling me I got him too, pause. And every time someone says something about me, I think they're told to say it. That's just my assessment, unemotionally, from a godfather's point of view, when you think things out. Because when you have to deal with certain situations, you have to think about things, all angles, and You have to look at their perspective. When I look at their perspective, this looks like the perfect plan. Dame's a street guy. He's not going to go to court. We can do whatever we want. It just all adds up a certain way. You're not going to tell me he paid for them clothes every single day for the last 5 years. And if you did, start doctoring up your receipts, because we're going through a depth. There's going to be discovery, and then we're going to go to trial. And you come into Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely kind of surprised that you didn't get a chance to talk. But I mean,
I wasn't surprised.
It looked like,
I wanted him to do that. That's why I said y'all
took. You guys almost.
That's why I said y'all took the bait. Y'all took the bait. We had a debate, and you took the bait. You saw that? Debate?
Yeah.
The bait?
I get it. For sure. I mean, it looked like you guys almost came to blows. Like, it looked like it was about to go down.
That would have been a bad look for Charlamagne based on the history and the algorithm, based on the things I saw. So what I saw is him run. And I saw him justify it and be proud of it. For 4 guys. 30 guys jumped me in Paris. I did not run. And there was witnesses, and everyone can tell you. That's just not how I deal with things. So I highly doubt, like, you know, it takes about like 4 guys for me, or 3 when I was younger. I would say that makes it a little even because my hands are trained. So if he wanted to do that, I would have been with it, but I don't think it would have been a good look for him. And, you know, Daniel was there, so that would have been a really bad look for everybody in there. Trust me on that. So we're only tough for love. We only protect ourselves, but we're always prepared to protect ourselves. And, you know, if he just started boxing, I don't care. You know, I told him afterward, I'm just curious. You know, I'm old. I shouldn't be boxing. But I'm like, I'll give you a round or 2. I'm just curious to know if he can fight at all. But I know what I'm gonna do. Even old, we all that. I used to fight pros for rounds.
Yeah, I seen Cameron touch on that a little bit when I guess you and Mace almost got into it.
Yeah, no disrespect to Mace, but in my brain, him and Cam were gonna get beat up, and there was no way they could beat me. In that moment, in my brain, there was no way. Matter of fact, you better get another one of your friends. And they'll tell you that in a crowd of 20, 30 people, I'd be like, I don't give a we fighting. Because I do that, or at least I used to. I used to fight a lot. So I'm used to it. I'm used to kicking, pause a punch, and giving back 3 or 4. And I've been jumped before and still fought. So I know how I'm going to react to certain things. I don't fight to lose. And the people that I'm around, I've never seen them lose a fight. I'm not trying to lose a fight. Now, you know, Cam and I have some degree of a truce going on, but he needs to come see me. We need to talk. But there are things that I could say right now that I'm not for Harlem.
Okay, I mean, can you talk about what happened that day between you and Mace?
I don't really remember. It was, you know, I remember I think we might have been in Mart 125. He said some slick shit. And the thing is, back then and even now, you see how they play too much. So I always be like, they were always the guys that were always finessing people. So you know how Cam might say he used to hang out in Jim Jones' house only because, you know, he had a house and he'll be his friend for that. I would always be like, don't play with me like that. And it does seem like they were only my friends for I had my own apartment. I used to let them drive my cars. But I just don't remember. But I remember being surprised that he was taking Mace's side, knowing that I'm going to beat the shit out of both of them. Pause. At least that was my intention. It could have went the other way. I don't think Mace is a punk because he didn't stand down. But that doesn't matter to me. Most people that fight me don't stand down. But afterwards, they can't stand up. But again, I'm old. But you could ask some of the people that have been in physical combat with me. I break bones and put in the hospital. You know, and I'm not going to call out no names, but they'll tell you. But people know about it. Harlem knows about it. When I really fight somebody, they pissing in the bag after if I could get my way. And it's happened. People come aggressively to do things to me, pause, and they ended up really bad. Thinking because I'm handsome, that shit is sweet.
Were you surprised that Cameron took Mace's side during that?
Again, yeah, I remember it's 30 years ago, so I don't remember so much. I just remember we resolved it, but I was surprised that he was taking Mace's side, but I think he knew Mace might have needed some help. So he's right. So, but still, it wasn't. I don't think it was going to be fair with them two. But again, I'm not calling Mesa punk. He did stand up. He didn't back down. But we resolved it. But in my mind, if that's the mode we was about to get into, it is what it is. And if he would have me up, I would have shook his hand. I promise you. I don't be mad if somebody could fight better than me. I just got to get up and fight better. I just get mad when be cheating. Like, I'm an honorable fighter. A fair one is a fair one. No guns. That's why I'm still here, because I used to fight dudes that murder people. And, the reason why it went no further is because that's the honorable thing to do, is a fair one. They're not going to get mad if you win. You walk off and you be cool. And, with Cam, I just want a verbal fair one. I just want to talk to him. And this whole thing with Cam is because we didn't speak. The thing with Detavio is, for some reason, 2 days before the interview, he disappeared. And so did the other kid, whatever his name is. They both did. If we would have spoke, we could have actually articulated the right way that we wanted this to be launched. But they did know I was going to the Breakfast Club. And that kid, Dante, or whatever his name is, he knew that I had a statement that I was putting for Detavio, but I wanted to talk to him to make sure that we said the right shit. But I don't have time to move at their pace. That's why they broke. They move slow. They do their business different. And I think they're not that bright. I think they're stupid over there. I think the way they approach their business as it relates to media is dumb. I just think it's very, I could double their numbers in a hot minute. We have why wouldn't you? The thing is, even with like a Netflix, they were losing money and they still got to raise $1 billion every year, which is meaning they're spending someone else's money, but it's fine. They're in, their debt till they make it back. They just got a lot of cash flow, but at least they're making content that they could leverage later. It's different verticals, and I don't think they stimulate them. The approach on their business approach to me, I could make that $400 million in a hot second. They make no money on linear. They're not even Nielsen rated. So their linear doesn't mean anything. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
They don't even get ads for linear. It's all programmatic. What am I doing? Programmatic. I get the full CPM. They got to go through a middleman. So if I could look at their engagement and see what it would do with our programmatic, it would probably be double, triple. But why wouldn't they want to rock with that? Why wouldn't the bank is getting their money, so they don't care. But the thing is, that's all they make is enough to pay their loan, allegedly. But a lot of these are public things, so it's like people just don't read.
Yeah, that's no good if you're only making money just to pay your loan back.
You're broke. But that company is doing that. iHeart, again, I'll say allegedly, but I was looking to buy that company because iHeart is about to go bankrupt. You'll see. So I'm like, I could take, again, I'm not going to buy it with my own money, but if the numbers make sense, but they got too much debt. None of them make money, bro. I'm the only one with no debt. And they call me broke, and that's why I'm upset that I'm like, Charlamagne, you're teaching these people wrong. You're bankrupt shaming me, and you're teaching. That's the reason why black people don't file now. Who got more debt than black people? So when I go to file, the lady that's doing all the work is telling me no black people files, all white people. Black people be too ashamed, and it's the best thing for us when we need a little help. 50 filed. He filed 11 because he had too many assets. So his assets were worth more than the debt. So you can't file. I had no assets, so I could file. Or they're gonna liquidate everything. But again, those are all startups. So go ahead, liquidate them. Every company in my family office is a startup. But all the money that we make goes into the business. We don't want any loans. If you got $150 million loan, you're broke to me. So again, the people you keep calling billionaires and rich, they all got a lot of loans. They cannot stop working. They cannot relax. The reason why I can sit on a lake and I don't have to show up anywhere is because I don't owe nobody no money that loaned it to me. I just owe the government in judgments. They got to pay a nut every year or they're going to lose shit, whoever it is. But stop telling me these people are rich because they look good spending other people's money. Because they have something that they can leverage, they just keep getting loans against it. And what we have to teach. I'm not saying it because I care about this dude or any one of these people you're saying billionaires. I just want y'all to learn so y'all don't get and be in these same positions and be old and jammed up and got to go tap dancing when you're like Sammy Davis Jr. when he like 89. Because you got to pay off a loan. You want, at some point, you got to want to. I've been loving relaxing. You know what I'm saying? When I get in the city, I'm right out this city. I want to get back on that lake. I love chilling with my family. I love having a healthy, regular relationship with the people I love. I love being able to get up and take my kid to school. I don't have to work off no debt. Everyone does. That's why they outside. When you see people touring all over and they just did, you know, it's like, yo, that shit looks tight. Yo, touring sucks. I don't care what nobody say, especially been doing that shit forever. That shit gets boring. You know? I hated that shit after Hard Knock Life. I was like, I ain't going back on no tours. You know, you're on a tour bus every day, packing, mall, hotel, wait all day in the show. Herpes is everywhere, so you can't touch no girls. And then you go and pack and leave again for like 30 days. That shit is hell. Whoever's touring is because they got to. They working off of debt. So look at the Live Nation deals. They give you $100 million. They was give it to you. You got to work that off. That's their money. Until you work that off, you work for them. Whatever they tell you to do, you doing. Somebody gives you a loan for $150, you're gonna kiss his ass. They tried to give me those loans. Hell no. You'll never be my boss. I'm not kissing your ass. And that was the issue. I don't want the loans. So y'all can keep calling that broke. I call it no debt. But the assets that my family office have at some point may generate a lot of income. But let's say they did and I had $100 million debt, it would all go to the debt. We have no debt, clean slate. We start making money right now, it's all P. Pause. They make money, they got to make 80 million before they can make profit. And they're not doing that. Nobody is. So all these people, I hope they got enough money for these lawsuits because y'all, all of them, none of them have no bread.
You mentioned 50 Cent, and one of the things I didn't expect to hear was that 50 Cent doesn't own the TV show Power. Can you kind of break that down for everybody a little bit?
So let me tell you what actually happens in the real world. You might acquire someone's rights, let's say a production company, or someone will sell their rights to a production company. So I don't know if it's the other production company or not. Then that production company sells the rights to the network. The network now owns it and they pay you a salary to run it. They give you a budget and whatever's left you can keep. That's why I was beefing with E1. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not, you know, and it's a longer story than that. So Netflix, which owns Stars, owns Power. And 50 is on salary and he's admitted that. He said he made 25 grand an episode, which is a joke to me. But it got him in the door to get bigger jobs. But he ask him. I'm not lying. Ask anybody that knows anything about television. And usually the production company is never black. So they'll put a black person to work for that company and put their name on it, but it's for a white production company. So that would be like Love and Hip Hop.
Okay, what about at the end of it where it says executive produced by 50 Cent? Is that just for show? Like what's that about?
That title doesn't mean dick. Pause. Executive producer can mean so many things. So it means you looked over it. It means you gave money. It means that you just want your name on there so that you could get props. You know, when you win for a movie, the executive producer doesn't get the Oscar, the producer does. Not the executive producer. For TV, it's a little different. But yeah, so the other lawsuit that I have, that a RICO, and I'll just say allegedly so they can't sue me. They were saying that I was supposed to, I didn't really direct the movie, and I got the footage of me directing the whole movie at my house with my camera, my DP, all of it. And they were saying they were giving me a vanity credit as a director. So sometimes people get what's called vanity credits. So they'll give you a credit, like if you put, you know, it's just vanity. It doesn't mean shit. I'm not saying it doesn't in 50's case, but it doesn't mean he puts up the money or he owns it. That's not what that means at all. If you want to know who owns it, just go to ChatGPT and ask who owns the rights to power. And then ask who owns the rights to Paid in Full. It's Disney. Miramax is bought by Disney. Disney owns the rights to Paid in Full. So if I were to do Paid in Full, I'd have to work for them. I'm not, and that's not, and I didn't feel, I'm not licensing Paid in Full, and I have my own Paid in Full. I was never telling AZ's story again. Paid in Full was AZ's story. So he might have got AZ's story, but AZ's story was the title was different, and it turned out to be Paid in Full. What was trademarked was what was made, which was Paid in Full. But I'm not telling AZ's story again. I'm telling Jay Black's story, you know?
It says Starz owns the right to Power television show and its entire franchise, not Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
There you go. I'm not lying. Just check. Now see Paid in Full now.
Let's see.
Sometimes I feel like my name should be ChatGPT. Their name should be Chatty Patty. My name should be ChatGPT. Because I just
Paid in Full movie?
Yeah, go ahead. Who has the right?
Okay, it says 50 Cent owns the right to the movie Paid in Full.
Just read exactly what it says.
It says 50 Cent owns the right to the movie Paid in Full, having recently acquired them from Dame Dash, who produced the 2002 film. 50 Cent announced his acquisition of the rights in September 2025 and is developing the film into a television series with original star Cameron serving as a co-executive.
So that sounds like they're reading from ChatGPT a Cap article, because I don't own the rights to Paid in Full. I never did. And he didn't acquire them from me.
Right. So, yeah, sometimes ChatGPT
Nah, I don't. Now let me ask it, because I asked it recently. Nicolette, who owns the rights to Paid in Full? And I'll let you know, because your chat might be a Chatty Patty. That sounds like Chatty Patty chat.
It just says 50 Cent publicly announced that he owns it.
It just says, it doesn't say he owns it, it says he publicly announced. And that's true. But that's not, I need to, like, I would look under the hood. I'm telling you, Disney owns it. So ask it, does Disney own the rights to Honor Up? I mean, to Paid in Full. You know, they're just reporting on an announcement, but, you know, that's Cap. And that's the thing about algorithms. If you put something in an algorithm, people might say it so much that ChatGPT might verify it and it's wrong. But that other thing was very direct. You know, you could go and look under the hood and see that. There was with no bum-ass announcement, the facts are the facts. Ask who owns BMF. I don't know that, but, you know, I'm curious. What does it say?
Say there's no credible evidence.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was like, I don't see how anyone could have bought Paid in Full. Where did he buy it from? If he didn't buy it from me or anyone else, no one knows who owns it. But 50 he definitely didn't buy it from me. But I'm saying that the research is easy to do. I wouldn't believe every headline that gets in the algorithm.
About the movie Paid in Full, man, I seen you post a clip about AZ from Paid in Full. He called you out or called the movie out saying he didn't like how he was portrayed in the movie and that you guys made him out to snitch.
Yeah. So number one, Bootsy brought AZ to my gallery in the Lower East Side, and Cam had just hit me and was telling me, pause, that AZ had been saying certain things. This was years ago. So when I saw him, I said, yo, if there's a problem or anything, I need you to tell me right now. He said, I ain't got no problem. All right, then we can move on, because he was showing me the Rich Porter script, which is really good. And I would want to make it, but I don't want to. So what happened was I had sort of like detached from the street for a while. And I didn't know that AZ had told on the people that shot him. I didn't know that he testified against him. And in the street, you're not supposed to do that. If you're a civilian, yes. But it's street rules. So you're supposed to get your get back. You got to get it back in blood. So, and it also turned out some people that were close to me were cool with those people. So these are people I really respect. And they called me and was like, how you doing something with AZ? He's a rat, blah, 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 blah. Like, I get a lot of heat sometimes from, you know, credible people that I consider and that I respect from the street. So I was like, all right, I had to put it in some way, pause, that it was like, I didn't say testified. I just said that I just had to do that. And that was and I didn't know it. So I had to do that because it was the only way I could, like, to me, AZ doing that from where I'm from does make him not right. But that's where I'm from, only from where I'm from. And there's other things, like the girl was like 12. You know what I'm saying? So whether he knew it or not, that little girl was 12 or 13, allegedly. And I can't get past that either. Like, I'm like, and we all knew who the girl was when we was outside, like, but it was such a normal thing, not that I would do it, but that older people, older hustlers used to mess with 13 to 14. It wasn't how old you were in the hood for certain people. It was how old you acted. So the girl definitely didn't look 13, but we all knew she was. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like that either. So that's why I put that in there. No disrespect, but for I couldn't just make him look like he didn't do anything, because he did tell on the people. Because I could have put that, but it would have been too hard to pause. Because the Paid in Full, like when you make a movie, it's inspired by. So everything that was in Paid in Full, it was very close, but not a lot of things were not completely correct, but the message was there. You know, my messaging for Paid in Full was that hustling is not dope. It's not sustainable. That it looks good, but people end up getting killed, people you love. And I didn't want people to glorify hustling. You know, it's funny, like someone from Queens talking about making a Harlem Story. Y'all could do it, but it's not going to be legit like that, because I really used to hustle. Pause. Rich Porter really did hit us with a pack in that situation, me and my man. You know, we were actually there. Like, I hustled with these people. So I don't need to get anybody's rights to tell my version of that time period. You know, all I had to do was, get the trademark for my Paid in Full as a television show and a movie, which I did. So I don't know what he's talking about, but he doesn't own anything. Like, it's like, to me, it seems like whoever sold them Paid in Full, they were like, yo, if you shave your mustache off, we'll give you Paid in Full. And he did it. That must have been the transaction, because there's no reason for him to be looking like that unless it's for a movie or something. But that's like a little joke. But what I'm saying is, I don't know who he could have bought Paid in Full from. Whoever did, sold them. I got the Brooklyn Bridge I could sell you as well. You know what I'm saying? But if you work with Disney, again, they might, I don't know, like maybe they might have, I don't know, because I spoke to them and they were talking about I had to pay, they had to talk. I was like, I'm not asking you, bro. I was being considerate. I'm not telling the same story. You know what I'm saying? I never made Paid in Full again, because I'm not going to make a bunch of money about my experience for another culture. So, like, when I played the commercial, it's going to be on America New no matter what. But it could end up a lot of places, but I have to own it. But I do have an announcement coming out for a different situation with BET and Paramount. But they don't, I guess they don't want, the reason why is I've edited like 5 already, and I got 4 almost edited. Like, I have an editor that tells me he's going to edit and then gets mad, like just breaks out. And I'm like, bro, I need this edited. You told me. And then, like, I didn't tell you I was going to do all this, something, but I would have gave it to someone else and he got the files. So either way, sometimes editors can get the on my nerves. And I got like 5, 6 done, and I need to finish the next 4, but they're already I should have them all done in a month. And then they'll know to make I personally think we should capitalize off the momentum now. But, well, whenever they're ready, they're ready. You know what I'm saying? So what's going to happen is, like I said, it's going to be put out in different, like, first, it's a docuseries, so you could understand the characters. Then it's going to turn into possibly, which is what I was showing y'all, because then after the docuseries, it was turning into a scripted. So from the docuseries, my method is I write from the doc. So as I'm interviewing you, because that's how I'd write the script anyway, I'm actually doing the doc. Like, that's how I'm doing my book. So my book, Power, Michelle Valentine is writing it. We've been doing Zooms, but she's going to come out here and, I'm going to make a doc at the same time. As soon as that's done, I'm making a TV show. But I want it to be on my network. I don't want debt. I don't want no debt to make nothing.
Okay, that's what's up. Now, back to the movies for a quick second, man. I came across a video and Cameron said he was highly against doing the ending scene where he says, "I'll snitch," and
he was.
I'll
That's
snitch on
true.
dudes from DC.
That's true. And the problem is, it's a movie, but you don't play a guy that snitched on Washington and then go to Washington with a Lamborghini and stay in the same neighborhood that he had issues in for 3 or 4 days. So from what I was told, they were like, yo, you can't just disrespect us and go to Washington and you just played this dude that told on a lot of people from our neighborhood and they just got aggravated. So I think Cam was just playing that. I wouldn't have done that. Because when he got shot, what the was you doing there in the first place? With a drop top. And you just played this man and you going around the neighborhood where people are going to be triggered. And he got people triggered and they pulled the trigger. And hopefully he's learned, don't do no shit like that. That's why I don't have any convertibles. You know what I'm saying? It's because it could hit you, that's crazy. To go into that hostile environment after you've done these things and stay for days, you might get shot. I didn't want him to get shot, but he definitely was against it, and it was a bit of an argument, but he still respected it and did it. But also, I wanted him to say that because Paul, homeboy had said that. So if you look at the Feds one of the magazines, they did a story on him, he said this shit. So I just repeated what he said. When he said, it's still going to be on my dick, pause. He said, when I get home, it's still going to be on mine. That's what I read. Maybe I say allegedly, but I remember reading that. So that's why I put that in there. So really, I understood that he would come home because he told. He told me he told. I had a conversation with him on the phone, but I didn't know he told. Once he told me he told, I was like, yeah, I'll talk to you later. And I wasn't talking to him no more. Because I was like, he was telling me he killed Rich. And I'm like, yo, we on the phone, right? He's like, man, I told everything. I told them everything. And then he sent a message to someone else. Like, yo, someone else shouldn't talk so much because I didn't tell, I didn't mention his name. But Jay Black and a lot of the people I'm talking about, that was, Rich Porter's lieutenant. He made the movie with me. So I always wanted to tell it from his eyes because he was right with him. And then because we got hit by work with him and everyone that I know was working with him and we were all friends. You understand what I'm saying? Except Daniel. And then, it's like a lot of people were getting money in Harlem. A lot. There's also a prequel to be told, which at some point I would love to do. But what I don't think people understand is like, you can't profit from your crimes. So there's a Son of Sam law. Maybe put it in the chat. And I'm not saying the chat's always right, but it can give you some direction. So a lot of people think when they come home from jail, they can sell the rights to their story, and they can't. There's a way that you could do it, but you can't. Like any money that comes has to go to like the victims or some shit like that, or to some kind of a charity. But you personally can't make money from your crimes. And I've had this conversation with so many people, but they just don't get it. I'd be like, yo, I can't tell your story. And it's public domain. So when something's in the newspaper, you don't have to buy the rights for it. I don't have to buy the rights for Paid in Full. It was in the newspaper. Do you understand that? And if you don't believe me, ask a lawyer. But if you want some guidance, type that in right now and see what it says about the Son of Sam law and about.
It says a Son of Sam law is a statute initially passed by New York in 1978 after serial killer David
Son of Sam
Berkowitz gained notoriety, designed to prevent criminals from profiting from the publicity of their crimes, especially by selling their stories. However, The U.S. Supreme Court declared New York's original law unconstitutional in 1991 for violating First Amendment free speech rights by overly restricting expression. Despite the ruling, many states and the federal government have similar laws in place, often with the goal of redirecting any potential profits from crime-related narratives to compensate victims.
So that meant that it got overturned, but other states still imply it. You know, I'm good. So ask: is the Son of Sam law still in effect or not? I hate when it answers like that. But also ask if you have to get someone's rights if it's been in a newspaper. Is it public? What's public domain?
It says, yes, the concept of Son of Sam law is still in effect, but these laws have been revised and upheld in various forms since the original New York law was found
so it's yes.
unconstitutional.
So it's yes, and I'm hot. So I know that anybody that I'm going to buy their rights, if I'm buying it personally, it's going to be an issue. You know what I mean? So I don't have to buy the rights for certain things. If anything that was in the paper, I don't have to buy the rights for it. No one does. And people should check. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to buy the rights for that story. It's good to not buy the rights, but have that person still be down with it. You know? But you don't have to buy the rights. So that's what I'm saying. Like people, so I would love for like Charlamagne or them, if they have a platform, to show people and teach people, but instead they run with the headlines and it's really making people stupid. And they do this algorithm thing. And it does seem like, you know, they got a lot of bots. Like I saw a lot of things tagged up saying that I was like unhinged. And I'm like, that was the calmest I ever was. So I knew those things were premeditated. They were already written to, you know, control certain narratives. But he can't control this narrative. He took an L and he showed his ass. Pause. You know, there's no way he should have been interrupting me like that and calling me names. And they called me a loser. That's why I was like, bro, like I wouldn't let nobody do that shit. And now you think because you're in a radio station, I can't punch you in your mouth. And if I would have, you know, Will Smith them pause, then I would have been looking crazy. But he was being too disrespectful. Like, yo, I don't think it's disrespectful to say, yo, bro, I think you're gay. Just admit it. Because I don't have anything against gay people. But I don't like when like someone pretends they're masculine and that makes other people that are looking for direction think that that's the masculine perspective. I think he should be like, yo, this is from a gay perspective. A gay man looks at things different than a heterosexual man. It is what it is, and there's no offense there. But he acts gay to me. And like after what I was trying to say was, I didn't know Puff was gay or that was doing things that were, you know, rubbing cum paws on his chest. That's gay to me. So I didn't know it. I never knew it. I heard about it, but I was like, he can't be, because I would have heard about it from, you know, I feel like people would have said something already. So after hearing all that, I'm like, yo, everybody that I thought was gay is gay. It's in the music industry, and it seems like they all hang out. So I'm like, yo, if I thought you were a beard without a beard, you feel me? I don't see Charlamagne running around with his girl or his kids. He's just talking about other people. Like, you know, certain people, I'd be like, why they ain't got, you know, I knew what I was doing when I was outside. I was rolling. You know, I just loved women. I still do, but I'm too old to be doing all that. I want to be a father right now. But I'm like, where's the chicks? None of these dudes be around girls. Like we supposed to be rock stars. Like I like rock stars that girls like masculine rock stars, and they be around. You ain't got no girls around. Like where are they? Like, you know, like you famous in a certain kind of way. You can't get a girl. Of course you could. You don't want one. And also, a heterosexual man would have been offended by that. He wasn't offended. He just was like, damn, I didn't want nobody to know. All he was saying was that's none of your business. But I think it is when you're representing that you're something you're not. And then I'm seeing them on like doing shows and they drag it. Cause you know, I think we did like 3 or 4 million. I did 8 million the last one. Just look at my metrics. I be getting popping, pause. They should say thank you. They should leverage the moment. But the way they leverage it is spread more bullshit. And drag it. Go on other shows and talk about it. Talk about it on their show. Ask people for like, you know, I just found it hilarious that, you know, they thought that they took such an L that they couldn't let it go. Yeah, y'all took an L. Y'all went up there thinking it was going to be one way and it was another. Good for you. And now you got a lawsuit. or we got to talk it out. Like with the bankruptcy, you got to go in front, they question you like a committee and all that shit. I'm going to have to answer why you got jewelry, why you got suits, why are they saying these things? It's because I'm working. These are samples. I don't own these things. These are so they can be sold. I'm the spokesperson for my family office, period. But if I didn't file, they would have been sending letters around to everybody. That's his jury. That's what he was saying. I want his jury. I'm like, that's my family office's jury. These glasses are my family office. They're samples. I just want to sell them to people.
Well, recently, Memphis Bleek did an interview with Shannon Sharp. And in this interview, he says he doesn't think you and Jay can ever, be friends again or be cool again. Did you see that? What'd you think about that? And, is that something you thought about?
Because of the thing with the gray areas, like, again, I'm a street guy. So because of the police, and I don't want to get into it because I don't want no beef with the police. But because, there's a lot of gray areas over there, I probably would stay away based on how I'm, like, for me, we don't mess with people that informed, and we don't mess with people that mess with people that informed. And that's what Honor Up was about. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason there. Like, if it came to doing like a Rockefeller reunion and the rest of the team is going to get some money and we could be in different places, I don't want to hang out with him at all. But I wouldn't mind getting some money. I think that, again, hearing that Cam up Rockefeller, it's like, what would happen if he didn't do that? We probably, because we weren't cool. He was doing his thing because of the Aaliyah shit. And I wasn't with him too much, but we still were doing business. So we could have potentially still been doing business, even though you don't have to be cool with someone to do business. You just got to do good business. You know what I'm saying? But like if I did business with him, he'd have to eliminate the things that are against my moral fabric.
Now, I've seen a lot of reasons why Rockefeller broke up. I mean, I think you've even talked about Jay not wanting to pay Biggs, from you and Jay not getting along.
So let's say this. You know what the headline's gonna be. Now I'm a chatty patty because I'm talking about my business and I always talk about Jay. But you have to acknowledge, I like you when you put it up. I asked him the question and he answered about Jay, as opposed to me just saying that Jay, because I'm just talking about my life. This is not chatty patty to me. I'm not going to stop talking about my life because stupid people are saying these things. But I know they're bots. But go ahead. What was the question?
Yeah, man. I mean, with everything you and Jay accomplished, man, I don't know how either one of you ever really not get talked about each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just happen to do more interviews. I'm pretty sure if he does interviews, they're gonna ask him about Damon. If they never ask.
They never ask him about me, and they never ask him any of those things. There's never questions like, why did you do that? Like, based on what Damon, he doesn't. I haven't seen that ever brought up. Everyone. I'm completely sure that when he does an interview, see, the difference is he has people to talk for him to me. You know what I mean? Bleak talks for him. Steve Stout talks for him. Charlamagne talks for him. Noriega talks for him to me. And he doesn't have to talk. Shapiro talks for him. Everyone I'm fighting on my own. I talk for me. And I do interviews. This is my way. I don't get loans. So when you don't get loans, you got to do interviews. He ain't got to do interviews. I don't get loans. I got to do interviews. But what I don't have to do is I don't have to be outside and work off no debt. I ain't got to be worried about service or nothing, servicing the debt. And now, again, if I don't whether they don't let me bankrupt or not, I ain't got no money. But I know what they're going to do. Chris Brown allegedly will always try to attach me to the Dash Group with ownership. And my girl, he's put my girl through so much. Like this girl, Monique Bunn, accused of her of a sexual assault in public. And then we had to go through a full trial. And she had to go and be on a stand. And in that trial, he tried to attach me to the Dash Group, had her on a stand, and the judge said, nah, he ain't got shit to do like that. He don't own the Dash Group. He could go and promote the book and make a movie for the Dash Group and star in it for the Dash Group, even though the Dash Group's not even making money, but we're flipping. Everything goes into working cash flow. We pay tax. The Dash Group pays taxes.
You talked about, him and you working together in a business capacity.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, again, we have boundaries. We work for Rockefeller, but I don't quite want to do any business with Sean Carter. I want to do business with Rockefeller. Like like I said, I've learned to have a lot of respect for Bleak because of his loyalty, and that's a lot. And I would love to see all the Rockefellers instead of one Rockefeller be rich. And I don't think it's over. We're still young. So I'm always down to do Rockefeller business. I always was. I don't want any Sean Carter business, though. I don't want to be hanging out with Steve Stout. I don't like their crowd. They're not people I would want to be around that I ever hung out with. So why would I start now? I like women. I like to hang out with pretty girls and pretty souls and people that are intellectual. I don't like to hang out with people that say stupid shit. I like to be around people that can grow me, evolve me, make me smarter. That's what I like. I don't like to be the richest person in the room. I like to be the brokest because then I can learn.
I seen an interview where Tony Yayo said that Hove don't look out for Bleak the way 50 looks out for his artist. Did you see that, and what did you think about that?
That's true, but again, Bleak's response was, that's cool. To me, enabling someone, a man taking care of another man, that's enabling. But pause, homeboy is cold. He doesn't look out for nobody. That's why I said, despite that, Bleak is still so loyal because he understands he still gets a lot of opportunities from him. He's just not, he's not going to enable him. So I respect that, But, for me, he also said something like, he said some slick shit about me, but I didn't be offended. His perspective is different from mine. No man's hand is feeding me. I'm not biting or putting no fingers in my mouth. Pause. I'm the man whose hand they bite. You understand what I'm saying? So I never needed to be nice to Jay. The problem is they just keep with me. So they got guys like Charlamagne, it seems like, just continuously for like the last 10 years, discrediting everything that I do. And they're in front of a lot of people. But I think if there wasn't any of that shit and I was allowed to put out my ventures without all this scrutiny and it was looked at positively, it would do a lot better, which is why before I put all these things out, I got to get all the people that have been obstructing me. You can with me, but I'm not going to let you with my family business, my family office. You can't. I gotta fight because that's in front of my kids. It's for Dusko, it's for Boogie, it's for Lucky, it's for Ava and Tallulah. I'm fighting for them right now. It's for Rocky.
How do you feel when people are out there saying Jay should help out Dame Dash and Dame Dash is having problems and why can't Jay help out Dame? And I've seen that all over the internet for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, again, for some reason everybody likes to talk about me. I really don't mind. I'm flattered. As long as I'm in the algorithm, I'm good. Because, again, I want people to think I'm weak. I really do. I'd be surprised, like when Ray Daniel was said, and people that know me say, I'm like, need help with what? Y'all be seeing my life. It's so much better than yours. So how could you keep feeling sorry for me? And that's what I don't understand. People will see me live better than them by 10, 20 and still feel sorry for me, but they live in a little ass apartment that's rented. Like they live terrible. They work every day. But I'm sitting here relaxing with my family office, doing things that are creative. Like, I've never not had a studio. Like, not an office, like a whole building. Like, that's why I was like, Cam, why are you not talking about the things you saw? He's still not. I don't know why he's not doing that. Why do y'all want me to look broke so bad? So I know Steve Stout does. I know that Charlamagne does. I know that Envy does. It seems like they just really want me to look like I'm struggling so that it looks like they could use me as a poster boy to make an example of if you tell your truth. This is what it looks like if you don't have debt. No one can control you. If you have debt, you are controlled. Whoever gave you that money is telling you what to do, period. Investment is one thing. Debt is another. But again, whoever invests the bread, until you make that money back, and you have to have some situation where you can buy your shares back, because whoever puts up the money usually has the lion's share. The bank owns Revolt. You understand what I mean? The bank is the boss, not DeTavio. DeTavio makes no decisions as it relates to who's going to buy that joint. But it does seem like he's blocking people that will take that debt so that he won't get, because again, if it's just for the debt, nobody gets no money. But I don't think BlackRock should care. Pause. And I don't want no beef with BlackRock. Pause, but them, they got too many resources. So I don't want no beef with y'all. Let's squash this. I'll take the debt. I'll take that 70 or whatever it is. Pause. But I need the contract, and I need to see, he got to go because he's it up. He can't get paid all that money no more. He's getting paid more than anybody. How does see? I don't get paid at all. That's the difference. The chairman don't. I don't get paid. I do it for free. If the company makes money, then I'll get paid. But right now, I don't want to get paid. I'm working for y'all. Y'all ain't got enough money. We have to stay without debt. It's not bad to have a little debt, but not too much to where someone can take your company. And that's where they're at. They had a lot of debt. If they don't service that, so if they don't make that payment, then they lose. It's called they break covenants, and then they lose control of the company. That's what happened with Pinky, and she talks about it, but she worked it out with Slutty Vegan. People give you money, and if you can't make that debt, you lose all control.
Now, I seen you talk about never owning any of your artist masters. Is that something, can you break that down? How did that happen? Is that something you just never wanted? I mean, looking back on things, do you kind of regret that you didn't own just a small slice of it?
Nah. That's why I'm making my own records now. That's why I just don't think it's fair. I'm stupid like that. I just go with what's fair. I'm not an exploitive person because I can get money. I never take publishing. We'll own, if I put the money up, we'll own half the master. You know what I'm saying? But we sold it. You know what I mean? So we would together split it. If we paid for it together, we would both benefit. What I don't take is publishing. But I didn't sell anyone's masters. I didn't leverage anyone's masters. I'll leverage masters with that person and where we both benefit. But I'm not going to straight out just take that person. I don't think the masters revert back after a certain amount of years anyway. But it's just, I'm not built to be an executive. Executives' jobs are to take advantage of artists. So that's why I don't work for that. My job is to punish those that take advantage of artists. I saw Nori say that Leo wasn't a culture vulture. Dog, didn't I come up there and they were not giving you what you were supposed to get based on what you sold for your marketing? And Mariah Carey was selling less and getting more. And I brought that to their attention for Nori for free. And, they were robbing them. And I don't understand why. See, I think they all work for Lior, allegedly, right now. I remember Lior gave Cameron $60,000, and this is what Cameron told me. He's been saying I'm a liar. I don't know why all of a sudden I'd be lying. But he said that, allegedly, Lior gave him $60,000 to battle Mace, and he took it. So why would he want to battle me? And they're on YouTube now. So if I find out, Lior, that you got anything to do with any of these people coming at me, if any of them work for you, anybody to me that says you're not a culture vulture, you making the money. Or else they would be saying that because Nori always said you was a culture vulture to me. And I got it on tape. When he came to my house, pause after, because I was mad at him because Lior got on him and he didn't press him at all. And he said it's because I was about to do a deal with him. And I was like, so just because you're going to do a deal with somebody, that means that you're not going to press them? So obviously he did a deal with Lior, allegedly. And that's why he's not going to say he's a culture vulture. But when he doesn't have a deal with Lior, or when I used to talk to him, he was a culture vulture because that deal he was supposed to do, he didn't do. If that's the truth. But I do have him coming. He came to my house in Sherman Oaks with his wife. And again, he wanted to drink. His wife was mad because he got bodied again. We had to roll him into the car. And you could ask him. and I could show the tape. But it's not a disrespectful thing. I just don't know why these guys, anybody that gives Leo any respect, Leo's paying them, period. That's me, allegedly. That's what I see. There's no other reason to not think he's a culture vulture.
I interviewed Jim Jones in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And when I interviewed him, he said that he wanted to sign The Rock, or he wanted to, or you guys talked about it, and that you didn't want to give him $1 million for the deal. You know, I've seen this talked about as, you know, kind of like maybe when the split happened, when they made Cam vice president. Did you guys feel like you had to choose sides between Dame and Jay at the time?
Nah, I didn't have a side to choose. I chose whatever side Cam chose.
Okay, the split happens. After that, right after that is when you go to Koch?
Yeah, somewhere around there, something like that. Or maybe a little bit before that. I tell us people I tried to get $1 million from Dame. Dame laughed at me. And he chose to do the Koch deal. I knew that I would make more than $1 million. And being independent was a thing that I've seen from being in Houston the previous 2 years, and watching all these Houston artists making so much money selling shit out their trunk and in the mom and pop stores. Had the same attitude, like it wouldn't matter where these kids get the records from, long as it's on, long as they see the Diplomat bird on it. They wouldn't give a fuck if it's Def Jam, Atlantic, mom and pop. They just want to see what the bird is about.
No, what I told him was, you think Jay's gonna approve $1 million for you? You just punch Lenny S in the face? That's what happened. So I said, go to Koch. You could go. And I didn't have to. I let them all go. That might have been a mistake. But that, again, just because I was CEO doesn't mean that I could just make moves. I had to get approval from Jay, Lior, Biggs, and myself. And then everyone would have to sign off on it. There was no way Jay was going to ever, he wouldn't sign off on Kanye. So you think he's going to sign off on, he didn't sign off on Joe Buttons. I heard Joe Buttons say, yeah, the reason why no one accepted, when I started doing business with Joe Buttons, it was toward the end. So it was one of them situations where we voted and Jay-Z voted no, but me and Biggs voted yes. But then, there was no more Rockefeller. But yeah, no one accepted him. I did. If you think I loaned them money, because he said I loaned them money, you think I loaned them my money? That was Rockefeller money. And we weren't that cool for me to just give him some money. It was a business thing. So yes, he was a Rockefeller, never got recognized as one because it was over. Just like Graf, just like Rel. Now Rel was kind of in the game. Who else? There was a couple of people we had signed that ended up, getting caught up in the fallout. And, I don't understand how he says that. But yeah, you were a Rockefeller. And all of y'all have been watching me do podcasts with Kenyatta since 2005. I just wasn't monetizing it. And now that's what y'all all do. It's not to be offensive. I'm just saying I saw y'all as being artists that stimulated verticals from brand new records. I didn't see y'all retiring like football players and becoming hip hop casters. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see that. Like, I think everyone should have a podcast as a vertical, but I didn't see them making that their main thing. And my problem with Joe was when he was, when he's in it and I'm like, yo, pass some plugs. Let me know how to get the ads, whatever. And he was like, I'll call you back, and never called me back. And I just don't like that. I just think I always want to be generous with my opportunities with other people. And I just found that he wasn't. Maybe I'm wrong. But again, Joe, we can talk anytime you want. Buttons. Anytime.
What happened with the Dipset album? Did that get caught up in the breakup also?
Again, what I did for Cam, pause, is once I found out that Jay was going to cockblock, pause, because he was supposed to take the deal at Atlantic with Lior, but he just didn't want me to have Rockefeller. And L.A. Reid was like, he didn't want Jay to be the president. L.A. Reid wanted me because L.A. Reid had went through a similar situation with Babyface. So he's like, I need someone that does business. Like basically, from my experience, him being president of Def Jam was one of those, again, vanity titles. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it was. It wasn't like he was really doing P&Ls and all that other shit, from what I was told. And L.A. Reid really wanted me to be that guy so that he knew that it would be real business. Like, we would have done a lot with if we would have did that. What happened was, once I found out that Jay was going to be the president, I knew that he was going to f up Cam's shit. And L.A. Reid is fair in that way. Like, L.A. Reid is the type of person that'll duck you. You know, he used to have a button, because I used to just walk in his office because he never picked up my calls. I remember I had to call Usher like, yo, because I was like, what? Because what's up with your man? He was like, don't worry about it. He does that to everybody. So I didn't take it personal, but I moved quickly. So I used to just walk in his door. They had a button to lock the door when I would come in. But I finally got to talk to him with Cam, and I got him to let Cam out the contract, and Cam was $3 million unrecouped. And that's why I be bugging that Cam is so ungrateful, or at least the way he's approached things. I did the same thing for him at Sony with Polly Anthony. Over there, he was about $3 or $4 million unrecouped. So I let him leave with no debt. So, that's what happened. But then also, like, the Dipset kind of like what happened was Cam just left, and, y'all could ask Jim, and I didn't like that he left them. So I actually Jim came to see me. At the time, it was at Rachel Roy penthouse of the old Tommy Hilfiger building. He had just started getting strong. And I was like, oh shit, you got strong. And he was like, yo, I got to do what I got to do, Cam. To me, the way I remember the conversation, Cam broke out. I don't know why, whatever problems they had. And he wasn't with Jewels. So he said he got a deal with Sony. And I was like, all right, I'll help. So what I did was, me and Jim did a play. We did a movie with his crew. Mel Matrix is in it and all that. We made a whole lot of records. And we did a real play. And, we did a lot of things. A documentary. We did a documentary, a movie, a play. I spent the marketing money, and Al Branch was there. And the documentary's on America New. You can see it. It's called This Is Jim Jones. So I was showing you how to stimulate the verticals. And then I was even trying to help Jewels. But again, these, to me, I'm not going to call them children, but, Cam was supposed to be their leader. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not dissing Cam. I'm just telling you what happened. So I had to start. This happened with S.A. Pause. They had these artists in London. So when they would sign artists and stuff, like, I'm not going to just let the artists. I did all of that with Jim for free. You know what I'm saying? And look at the doc. It'll show it. It'll show everything step by step. This is Jim Jones. Red Apples Falling was the movie with his whole team. But what I liked was, and again, whatever we got now, I've always respected Jim's work ethic. There's things about Jim that I didn't want to be a part of, but either way, he was not going to stop. And even to this day, and I actually, that day that Cam brings up that I apologize, it was because I heard he was talking to the feds, and I didn't want them investigating me. So I was like, yo, my bad. Just keep my name out your mouths. Just because I get more girls. It was like a joke. But what that stimulated that was I called Jim and was like, yo, bro, like, I know your kid, but nothing really happened. And he was like, yo, we good, but some things can't be resolved. I don't know what happened that things can't be resolved. But I did, I've always liked that the part of Jim is his work ethic and how he won't quit. And he still hasn't, how he leveraged the moment. And he stays out there. You can't knock work ethic, But I always would look out. It just didn't seem like there was any, he didn't want no more Dipset. Jewels was a kid. He was like 16. It was, to me, because I couldn't tell Jewels what to do. That was Cam's job. It'd be like the uncle or the, telling, and the father's right there. Not to say he was his father, but, he was the older person that was bringing him along. I was going to sign Jewels before that, before they even met Cam. He was with, I forgot, with him and another little dude. Pause. But I didn't think they were ready. And when they got back with Cam, I was like, damn, hope they guide him right. But, you know, when you're that young, you don't know how to you're young. Half your brain is developed. So I just felt bad that they got left. And, you know, I always tried to help after that. But, you know, I always would be like, yo, yeah, they could just tour, but they can't have all them people on the stage. You know what I'm saying? That was, you know, like Jim's show was a play. So I was like, you have, and, you know, I even had him doing shows in like Williamsburg, and I got it all on tape. Like, because he would trust me. You know, again, like friendships, I was cool with these people. Obviously, I enjoyed being around them. So it'd be like, damn, it's up. I'm beefing with people that, and because of whatever else bullshit, like that I actually used to like hanging out with, that, you know, my family got cool with. I think that shit is whack. So, you know, I don't need to hang out with Jim, but there are things that we have done that we can make money with, and I'm still down as long as everything is copacetic based on my moral code, you know. And Mel Matrix, man, I never knew that Mel Matrix was that dude. He was such a respectful, polite person to my girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just amazing the things they say about people, but how cool they are in real life that you don't even know that that's their persona. And it's just like, I like, you know, those dudes was cool with me, man. Like, I didn't like when he went to jail. I was like, damn, he keep getting caught up, and he's, to me, like the real good, he's like a good, at least that's what I saw, was someone that was loyal. You know, like you would be like, why did this nigga, he just took a bullet for Jim? Why? It's because it's just a certain respect that they have. I gotta respect that. So I'm like, damn, they niggas say shit about Jim, but he can't be, because they wouldn't with him. So I'd be like, it's so weird. But I do like how he leverages those moments and says whatever the he wants. And then he, you know, I wouldn't do a lot of those things. You know, I'm not, me and him always used to argue about fashion. Like, I never liked, what's them shits? True Religion. I used to like take them shits off. I always hated them chains. It's just not me. But I could say that, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, he's definitely the dude that wore the pink first. I remember the day. And then all of a sudden Cam started doing it, but he did have his truck and all that. I teased him. But my teasing was always to make people be better. Like, I remember I asked Sin one time, what's your dreams, bro? And it was like a $40,000 townhouse. I was like, you got to dream bigger. So they'll say I'm mad. They'll be mad at me for saying that. I'm like, I'm not going to let you dream that small. I just try to teach people how to dream. I love all those guys, pause, like brothers. I used to love hanging out with them. We used to snap, have mad fun, laugh at everybody. I hate what's going on and where we are now. I hate it, bro. I hate it. And that's why I wanted to, like, I'm like, yo, I got to lead by example. It's always civil war. And, you know, it's like, it's always easy to say squash a problem when it's not your problem. So in order for me to be able to tell somebody to squash a beef, pause, I got to lead by example. I just want a conversation. Let's just talk it out. We could always alleviate and have a resolution with a respectful conversation amongst real masculine men. You know? So, yeah, you know, like I said, like Bleak, man, that's my man. You know, I hate that he had to choose a side, but if he didn't, I wouldn't have respected him. He's loyal. And I wish I had more loyal people around. I like, damn, I wish I had some more Memphis Bleaks around. Bleak don't give a what that do. He's always going to stand up for his big homie. You know, it's not like that. I just wish I hate us fighting each other and not being able to like grow up and laugh at the things we did when we were younger and how successful we are. I hate that shit, bro. It's whack. You know?
Well, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, man, it doesn't really seem that serious. So hopefully you guys can work it out. I'd like to see everybody. I know Jim and Cam has some problems also. So, you know, hopefully all you guys
listen, if we real gangsters, we put all the personal feelings to the side, hit the road, and go get that money. We ain't gotta like each other. We men. You gotta get the money. Why did we work so hard in our past to have to start from scratch? That's just stupid. State Property, Dipset, MOP, Kanye, Jay-Z. I'd be down for that. But I just want to get paid. I'm not leaving my family not to get paid because I'd be doing it for my family. I would love, we worked all so hard and we can't benefit from it because all of us are beefing because of one guy. And it ain't me. So truce to everybody, no beef with nobody. Let's get some money. Let's show the world, this is what I'm on right now. Show the world that they can't divide us and laugh at us. And let's benefit from all the things in our brotherhood. Push this stupid shit to the side and let's go get some real money. Not one person, all of us got to get money. It's not over. Unless, I guess, one person, we need the approval, but I'm not rocking like that. So I love Freeway for working with me. He didn't choose a side. He still works with them. You know? But this is all personal. This is like bitch ass shit to me. We putting our feelings over the money. And this is the example we're leading. This is not what I wanted for Rockefeller. Let's get back to, I'm still doing my other shit. But if all we could do is podcast, let's go back and hit the road. Let's get this bread. Let's sell some merch. Let's make some docs. What the are we doing? Beefing? They want us to do that because we stick together. They can't do shit. And I got the tech. So whoever from Rockefeller wants to do something, I'm down. I don't need it. I got my whole family office to run with a lot of announcements. I'm working on my paid in full and a lot of other, and power. But if y'all want to do it and we show the world we not bitch ass, because we looking crazy. I'm looking like a bad godfather. Let's bring it back together and let's all get money. Put everything to the side, man. Nobody got killed. What are we doing? I promise I ain't gonna mess with nobody's girls. I promise. But just don't mess with none of mine. I said it. Beef's over for me. Pause. Let's get money. Let's stop talking about each other. Let's talk together. Y'all want to have a sit down? Rockefeller? Daniel will make it happen. Call Daniel. Y'all could call me too, but he'll, you know what I mean? I just feel like people, I just like him involved in the thing. He keeps me grounded. Like, you know, he's like my consigliere. I'm the godfather of my family. He got his own family he's the godfather of, trust me. And I'm like a little bit of his consigliere for his family. We consiglieres. Godfathers become godfathers. You know how cool it is to have a boss be your consigliere? Someone that has a whole nother family and that's running it well? To get advice from someone that's successful at taking care of things? Everyone needs a consigliere, but don't make it a bum. Make it another godfather. Everyone is the godfather of their family. I just got a big family.
I hear that, man. I mean, we definitely need a Rockefeller documentary, man. That's
happening. Don't worry about that. You already know. I'm just going to put it on something where we make the lion's share of the money. I don't want no deal from somebody from another culture, and because it's famous, but you don't make no money. I'm not doing that.
Well, that's what
I want to be able to retire. You know what's crazy? Look, it says 444 as we're talking about Rockefeller. I pay attention to everything, bro. I pay attention to everything. That's what a boss does. Now, that might have been validation from God, or be like, I don't know. Yeah, seems like it could be validation. Or we could do a battle, you know, a versus, like, you know, Dipset versus State Property and blah, blah, blah. But all in good, fair fun. Anything. But I think we should come together. I don't like being excluded because you look stupid. Nothing without, Rockefeller without me does not exist. We all know that. So if you try to tell the story and try to do shit Rockefeller and I'm not there, you know, people will come through, but it won't be as profitable and the real cool people are not going to respect it.
I wanted to ask you, man, I seen the interview with Gilly the Kid. And I wanted to ask you, man, he said that you guys tried to sign him, but he didn't really like the deal. From your perspective, what happened with that situation?
I don't really remember so much. I just remember that Jay wasn't with it or something happened. I don't know. But again, you know, homie is definitely was like, I'm definitely going to make it hard for him. That was true. But he was down with the not Major. Damn, I don't want to say it wrong, but there was a whole team of them. It was like Gilly, the Dutchman. Like the Dutchman and Gilly were like the standouts in that crew, from what I remember. And you know, that was Freeway was there. But from what I was told, they just got everyone together. I thought everyone knew each other. And I don't know, I don't really remember. But, and then I remember Beans had a situation with Gilly that wasn't too complimentary for Gilly. So no disrespect, Gilly, but I just remember, and you could talk about it if you feel like it, I won't, or Beans could talk about it. But I don't know, I don't remember. I don't remember. That was, you know, Roller was my man. He died with the syrup, and he was a strong dude. And my other man. So it was like, you know, we became friends, and I don't know if he wants me to say his name, so I'm not. But it was Roller, because he keeps a low profile, and my other man. And again, we became family. We really did. We really did, bro. Sadiq, that was his name. Sadiq. Oh shit, I just said it. But yeah, Sadiq and Roller, man, like to me, Roller was so thorough, such a funny guy, so tough. He was like a Daniel, like, you know, he was hilarious. I loved the father that he was, and you know, his son just passed. When he passed, I actually, you know, I was going to Beans' trial, Roller, and I saw his son out there, and I didn't like the way he was living. So we were on a tour. I just took him back with me, and he lived with me for a couple months with Boogie. You know, like he was such a good dad to that kid, man. And he used to go to his basketball, and he was so strong, and the syrup killed him. It was crazy to me, and that's why I would be like telling you got to watch that syrup. It takes the strong ones. I remember, you know, the crew that was around ASAP, Yams, and you know, I'm not gonna say who it was, but there were people that were close to me, and I'm like, yo, your syrup shit, it's gonna be your strongest dude that's gonna die, that's gonna teach you. And the next week, Yams died, and I remember running into ASAP Rocky and him being like, I'm mad at your peoples, you know, not mad, but he had to speak to him because they were with him, and it was like I just had this conversation with them, man. No one listens. They always got to learn the hard way, you know. I remember one time, and again, I for some reason questioning my word, but you know, Harlem we respect the brotherhood of Harlem. So Smoke Dizza called me one day, I think it was Smoke. He was like, yo, ASAP Rocky's down here, Murder Mook is down here, and I hadn't met Murder Mook yet. And, you know, he's at the fish store. Come down here, some Harlem shit to, you know, I was like, yeah, definitely. So I went down there, and Cam pulled up. And you could ask Rocky about this shit, but like Cam wouldn't talk to him. And I didn't understand why. I was like, why won't you talk to him, bro? Like that's like you supposed to, they would be perfect. He wouldn't talk to him. He might have said, what's up? He just acted real funny with him, like, nah, I'm good. I didn't understand it. You know what I mean? It's like, why is it that Harlem don't want to see other Harlem? Because to me, ASAP took over the whole Cam shit, like, you know, the fly shit, but he took it to another level. The level that I thought Cam would have taken it to is where ASAP went with it. Because, you know, we have a certain style and a certain swag. And, you know, again, I never dressed like Cam, ever. But for his demographic, you know, people were really impressed with them. And ASAP, I never dressed like ASAP. I mean, now I wear suits. I've been wearing suits. I see him wearing suits. And I'm like, yeah, that's some Harlem shit to grow up. And I hear him talking about the same way I talk about my suits. You don't know how much these cost. You don't understand it. You know, I went to Savile to learn how to make suits. That's in London. I got trained to how to make a suit. So I like what ASAP's doing. Has a family, you know, leveraging the moment, doing his fashion, not dependent on music. And I just thought, like, why wouldn't we all click up? Can you imagine the ASAP crew, but then they're beefing? I'm like, I wish this shit didn't keep happening in Harlem. You know, I wish him and ASAP Bar, I wish they could get it together. That's crazy to me. Together we are so fly. So you got my team, the Dipset team, the ASAP team, and I like, you know, the Queen of Harlem's son, Charlie. Charlie's a fly young, now he's a YN and it's appropriate. But if we bring all of us together and just work together, man, instead of fighting each other all day, if we embrace each other, you want to see the next young fly nigga. You're going to get old. Who cares? You know, we got to start moving as a unit, man. This shit is embarrassing. And, you know, again, every OG was like, yo, that I respect, stop talking. I'm like, but he keep talking about me. You know, he won't talk to me. I got to stop, B. I'm not doing all this corny shit no more. I'm done with it. I'm going to just sue you. I'm not going to look like a clown no more because I got to defend myself in the algorithm. If you say something about me that's not right, I'm putting a hit on you. And when I say that, my hit is a lawsuit because I'm not going to be out here looking like one of this. I'm doing bubblegum shit. I'm ashamed of it. But you can't tell me I can't sue somebody. If I can't sue him, it's like, yo, you want me to shoot him? No. I'm not going to trick myself out my position or any of my family or friends. I'm just suing you, but I'm not doing no more bubblegum shit. It should be illegal for black people to be beefing with black people, especially brothers. It's a violation. So 50, you want to keep tearing black people down? Let's talk. I need you to stop doing that, man. I need you to stop beefing with everybody black. Go with somebody white. Cam, stop tearing down your brothers, bro. Stop tearing Jim down. Don't tear me down. Don't tear Mace down. And you know what I'm talking about. Let's stop tearing each other down. Like, stop making me get myself out of pocket, man. I hate it. I don't want to be talking our business in front of everybody. I don't want to keep explaining myself to my OGs. Obviously, I'm bothered. I don't want to argue with Daniel. I'm sick of this shit, man. I want to get to work. Leave me the alone. Sit and talk and resolve things and move forward. That's all they want us to do. I'm sick of this shit, man. Shit is corny. So I'm admitted, yeah, I was corny just now. I'll take it. Pause. I'm a man. But I was triggered. I don't know how to deal with these things because I'm used to violence. I'm used to dealing with things a different way. I'm not used to going to court. But now I am. So f that shit. I'm not beefing with y'all. I'm putting a hit on you. And that is a lawsuit. That I'm not running up. I used to run up in offices and fight. I could have just sued them. And that's what I should have did. But lawyers make it seem like it's so laborious and so expensive. And you don't want to walk in a building full of cops. You just don't. I don't want to walk in the courtroom. But I guess I had no choice. So I'll do it. You know, I'm going to be proactive instead of reactive now. That's what I learned from this situation. Start suing. Put money on heads. Pause.
Okay. That's what's up, man. So I got to take it back for a second because I had another question about the Gilly thing. Why would Jay be so mad to say that about Gilly? Is there something that happened or like, why would he be that mad that Gilly just turned the deal down?
I don't know, man. It's Jay. You got to ask Jay. But, you know, that's how he is. You know, it's like it was like the same reason Jay was so mad that Cam took his verse off. No one never says no to him for some reason, except, you know, me and certain other people. Pause.
Okay.
He has a lot of.
Jay was mad that when that. How mad was Jay when that happened?
I don't. I'm telling you. I promise you. I can't even make shit up. I don't remember.
Okay.
That shit wasn't that important to me, man. You know, I fill my mind up with memories that make me happy, and I celebrate people, like Aaliyah, my mother, and different. But like thinking about shit like that, like I be smoking and shit. I can't remember all that. Someone could tell me, like maybe like an Al Branch or like someone that was around, and they're like, oh yeah. But like off top, it's nothing I was thinking about.
Okay. Well, before we get out of here, what was your top 5 hip hop record labels of all time?
Rockefeller, Death Row, I'm gonna say Bad Boy. Is that considered hip hop or R&B?
Probably both.
Nah.
Yeah.
So do you
definitely hip hop? I think hip hop.
There's a lot of nah. They were like Barefoot. They were more R&B. So you say rap, Master P. I like what they had a good time. Definitely Prince. Jay Prince's thing. Rap a lot.
Rap a lot.
It was another Tony Draper in them. They were ill. Like Luke. Like I was all, we were all street guys. So those are the guys that I liked the most as labels. Wu-Tang I liked a lot, but I don't know if that was a label because it was on Loud. But I like what Divine and RZA have done. I consider them brothers. I don't want to miss anybody, but and Cash Money. Cash Money did they thing. You know what I mean? Can't knock Cash Money. But yeah.
Yeah, Cash Money had one hell of a run, man. Do you have a top 5 rapper list?
Nah, it's too many, man. I'm 54. Every decade there's rappers I like for different reasons. So it would be like I can't even do that one. But the thing about you understand something. I don't listen to rap more than I listen to like other music. Like rap is a vertical, but again, it's too traumatizing to hear about the street all day for me. I'm trying to escape the street, which is why I do rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? Blue Rock, I'm loving that. But I have to be successful. I'm an indie thing now. But yeah, I like rock and roll a little more than rap. I think rap is, you never stop liking it. But like an adult, after a certain age, if that's the majority of the music you're listening to, and majority of the rappers are young, it keeps you in a certain frame of mind, and I don't want to be in that frame of mind. I don't want to hear about violence. I don't want to hear about drugs. I don't even know the drugs the kids are wearing, and the clothes are different than the clothes I wear. So it's a little unrelatable to me now. And if someone asked me an opinion on a rap record, I'd be like, dog, I'm 54, man. Somebody that's the demographic it caters to. I don't know. If I like it, it doesn't mean it's good for what people want. It can be good for a 54-year-old. But I do like the Locks and, like the Rolling Stones still tour. They still drop records. It's like 90. So I think people should, if they're a rock star, I think they should be able to rock out, but as they feel, and those should be the numbers under the conditions that they want. You know what I mean? But, a lot of ain't rock stars.
Do you have any regrets from...
Right now, I like, there was a moment that I was like in, go ahead, I ain't gonna say that. What you say? What you saying?
I was gonna say, do you have any regrets from your Rockefeller days?
How could I? It's Rockefeller, man. Made history. Nah. Yeah, like, again, God's plan is God's plan. And to think anything negative to me is devil worship. I could never be mad at God because he's looked out for me and everything I've done. To have a negative thought about anything he's done, even from Aaliyah, to anything. It's just I needed to do things a certain way and I might not have been doing it, so he made sure I did. I think God wanted me to be free. He said, you don't deserve to have debt. You don't deserve to have these kind of people around you in your business. So you might be too lazy to break off and rip off the Band-Aid. I'll do it for you. But as a result, I've had the best life. There hasn't been a second I was in a little house. Hasn't been a second I had a bad car. I don't drive. It hasn't been a second I had to wear dirty sneakers. Hasn't been a second I couldn't travel. Hasn't been a second my kids were hungry. I've had the best experiences in the world. I can't even believe I'm 54. I've had so much fun. How could I knock God for anything that's happened? I'm not in jail and I'm not dead. So how could I be mad? If those were the cases, I could see, but it's not. I have a healthy relationship. I get to be a dad. All my kids are cool with me, including Boogie and Lucky. We have a family office that's debt free. How could I be mad? This is exactly what I wanted. What I'm doing now is exactly what I wanted. I just wanted to sit on a house on a lake and raise my children. I just wanted my daughter being on a television show, model, my other daughter just growing up, and my son's college, And now they're adults, and now I got a bigger team. I got a bigger crew, and I really enjoy them. Like, we don't argue. We have the one, we have a couple of, arguments here and there, but generally speaking, we talk every day, FaceTime every day. I love my relationship with my kids. I love it. I love them. I love all their personalities. They all crack me up. I talked to Ava damn near. I just realized I didn't talk to her the last couple of days. And I usually talk to her every day. Her and Tallulah, every day. Lucky, not as much, but like at least once a week. And he's funny like me. He likes to argue like me. And he likes to fight. I love hanging out with my son Lucky. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love when we're all together. We were on the ranch. Nothing was better. We just laughed the whole time, played games. I love my life. So I don't regret anything about Rockefeller at all. I regret that Clark's not here. He was a part of Rockefeller. I regret that certain artists like Petey Crack didn't realize their potential quite yet. Beanie, like Stay Prop, but it's not done yet. So there's things that I don't regret it, but I wish that it could have realized itself, but maybe it just wasn't time. I'm not mad at God for any of the things that God has done. I thank God every day. For me not to would be disrespectful to God, to be unappreciative to God. For me to not have faith would be any negative thoughts to me, or that's the devil. Because God's done too much for me to be mad at him about anything. Like nothing. I love everything.
You brought up Beanie Sigel. Do you feel like Beans should have been bigger than what he had? Because I do remember seeing an interview with Jay, and they, everybody
what happened
thought
with
Beanie
Beans?
Sigel was going to be like the next
What happened?
huge thing.
I'm gonna tell you what happened with Beans was we had set up the clothing line. I sold my interest in Rockefeller, and we were gonna do the movies and do everything, and then he just went with Jay when he came home, and that f***ed up a lot of money for me. I've heard interviews where he says he didn't know these things. I'm like, he definitely knew these things. And then when Tom, I keep forgetting his last name, but they went around my back and talked to Beans and told him he should be making clothes more like Rockwear because sales wasn't. And then he did that record with R. Kelly, and he was like, it wasn't Beans. It wasn't State Property Beans. So I just felt like Jay tricked him so he wouldn't take over. Because Beans was like, I can't say he wasn't like that. He's regardless of what has happened, he was about that life. He was like that. Like I've argued with Beans and be like, damn, now I got to fight Beans. But I would have to if we're going to do that. But, it never came through. You know what I mean? Like, if you run in a crew, you got to fight whoever steps up. And Beans was ferocious, good rapper. But I got sick of going up to jails and trials. I used to have to take a jet just to hand them over to the feds. It's traumatizing. I had to, I let him stay in one of my cribs, a loft in Tribeca for his house arrest, so he could work. It becomes family, funerals, all type of shit, B. It's like, it's a lot when you're ahead of a certain kind of team. But I do think definitely he could have. That's what I always said. I say homie ruined his life because he was going to be bigger than Jay. Cam was going to be bigger than Jay. Kanye is bigger than Jay. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like every one of them would have had Kanye success. I promise you that. And it can still happen. And now that Bleak and I see his work ethic, I think he could have did his big one too. I really do. That's what I regret. I regret not understanding Bleak and how his superpower. His superpower is his loyalty, not his rap. It's his loyalty.
You mentioned being there for Beans. I know he was going through his trial and you were there all the time.
Yeah.
What was that time like for you? And what was
it was tiring.
Every day, situation?
Every day, new suit. Van. I was the first dude with a van before Sprinter. So we take the van with the peanut butter guts, with the Rockefeller all in the headrest, and we go to Philly, sit through that trial, go walk through, make sure he felt supported. Then I have to go home and then come on back. But every day I would bring back a different Rockefeller. So I was like, if y'all don't support him, I'm not putting your records out. Because we're supposed to be a family. So to me, it's like anybody I get money with, then, like even Oskino, I had to go to, get on, stand for him or whatever. All of them, Petey Crack, Petey Crack was supposed to be El Plaga, not Noriega, but he caught a bid. It was supposed to be Petey Crack. Arguing with Pete, I used to be arguing with Petey Crack's management. There were some Italians, now I didn't even know, I heard the mob was heavy out there. I don't know if they were mobbed up or not, but it seemed like it. But I'd be arguing with them.
What did you think when Beans and Jay started going, or well, more when Beans started going after Jay?
I wasn't surprised. Matter of time. I was like, yeah, I knew that. Because when he said he was going to rock with him, I was like, let's see how that goes.
Because Beans seemed to be really upset that Jay wouldn't vouch for him when he was on trial to get bailed out.
Yeah, I was upset about that too. That was some sucker shit to me. We were all upset about it, bro. Nobody was jacking that.
Were you surprised? Like, was that something that...
Jay's cold, man. That thing that happened with his father, just breaking out, when he was young, I think that's really made him very cold. So, like, when he was young, and he tells the story, his mother told him that his father didn't want him no more. And I think his father was very close to him. So I know how close I am to Dusko. So, if I ever were to just say, I don't want you anymore, that would kill Dusko. It would break his heart. Any one of my kids. And he actually lived that. So I just think he had a certain kind of trauma that's, made it where he acts a certain way toward people.
Damn. Man,
Yeah, I felt, honestly, when he told me that story, I was like, damn. Because I got kids, so I'd be like, that sucks. And I think that f***ed him up.
Right, yeah, he's talked about it in quite a few songs, man. We've
Like, nigga,
through his music, we've learned about it.
The shot his own brother. Like, I would never shoot my brother. That's some cold shit. I don't think he tried to kill him. He shot him in the arm, but it wasn't anything that he needed to get shot over. And this is something he talked about in his records. No chatty patty shit, but I know his brother. I mean, I know his brother Eric. He's loud, very loud, and annoying at times. No disrespect, Eric. I don't want no beef with you. Pause. But you definitely were funny to be around. But he didn't deserve to get shot. It was like over a chain or some stupid shit. I was like, you shot your brother over that?
Yeah, that's wild.
So
Well,
my point is, he's
man,
cold. He's cold-blooded, cunning, conniving, and he But what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, bro.
No, I'm good. Well, what I wanted to do was come on over here, Nicky Licky. I wanted to introduce you to Nicky Licky.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
And it's funny because she made that diss track on 50 and all that, and Cam, and it was because she had, I'm like, yo, them coming at me. She felt the way, but she's a singer, which is funny. But she's like, that I got them for you, and I like that. And that's where there's, like I said, her fearlessness about certain things and her attitude about certain things, and she's kind of like body type Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? I knew Aaliyah's body very well. It's very similar. You know what I'm saying? So the slender and the certain moves she makes, and her perspective and her approach on music. She's a little bit, like I said, a white, dark, a lesbian, white, because again, Aaliyah wasn't a lesbian, but if she was white, she probably would have been. Aaliyah was happy about everything. I constantly have to be like, yo, is this what excitement looks like? Like, she's a little dark. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you're like the dark white version of her. But she's a writer. And her album, she's with the Black Guns. And her out, she made records with Cam. I mean, not with him, but she, first time we met, she met Cam, she jumped on. Like, she always, every artist that I'd be like, Nicolette, go ahead, they can't believe it. She'll go in there and lay her vocals quickly, and she can actually sometimes set the bar. And this is a white girl. It's like a white Eminem / singer. Like, it's weird. I prefer, because I like singing, and she always wants to rap and battle and rap all tough. And I'd be like, yo, I want to see the light side. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not always so dark and aggressive and shit. But, you know, she's from Charleston, and it's not the easiest thing being a lesbian in Charleston back then, you know? So she had to go to LA and deal with a lot of poor dickheads. And, you know, she's always been musically inclined, but she also edits, plays instruments. She could do anything, and it's amazing. So I'm mad she's a lesbian, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, you know?
So let me ask you real quick. What's it like working with Dame Dash, man? You know, somebody who has made so much history and did so much.
It's intense. You have to kind of address anything that slows you down, and you have to fix it and pick it up.
We move in at F1 speed, so I got to push the gas sometimes. It's not regular. You got to do things efficiently, quicker at a professional level. So she's in training.
But it's also a lot of fun, and we laugh all day. We think everything is so funny, and
smoke a lot of weed.
Smoke and
a lot of weed.
Talk and chill, but we work hard and play hard.
We definitely play hard. See, if you're gonna have a friend with any kind of masculinity at all, make it a lesbian, because lesbians are a lot of fun to hang around. Honestly, like I have a ball with her, and her friends are funny as hell. In little lesbian situations, I'd be seeing it crack me up. But there's always girls around. But I got a girl, so I can't touch none of them. It's cool. But it's definitely some funny shit that goes on. You know what I'm saying? All the time. You can watch her. She has a little movie on America New. It was like a pilot called Play Toy. And her whole existence is women. Pussy distracts her on levels you do not understand. You think girls love girls more than dudes. I'm going to tell you that right now. She's ridiculous. You know, it's not the worst problem. I've had that same problem. I could relate. But I'd be like, you got to stay focused. You can, like, she'll start. I don't know if she represents all lesbians, but they like to talk on the text a lot, and a lot of connection. They break up fast. It's all type of shit. I watched the L Word. What's the other lesbian? Yeah. What's the other lesbian joint? The Tampa Bays. We watched the Tampa Bays.
Yeah. I make him watch certain.
I watch all the lesbian shit. Every lesbian television show, I watched it.
I don't know if it teaches him too much, but.
Yeah, it teaches me not to overreact, because what I see is a lot of overreaction, and they break up like again. I no disrespect. This is what I see. I don't want to get canceled, but when I see their relationships don't last very long, like a month is like a year in lesbian relationships, and they can get messy. But you know, we should do a show about it. But she has an album coming out. And she's with the Black Guns, and she plays instruments. She raps. She sings, edits, shoots, pictures, all that shit. And like she's been in situations with me where I'd be like, yo, go get the gun, because people are with me and shit, and she'll go get it and pass it to me. She's passed me the hammer before. And when I've gotten in situations where there's like 10 guys in a room, and I'm like, I'll all y'all up, because I do that a lot. She'll feel so empowered that she'll be like, what you doing? And push the guy, and I'll be like, yo, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she thinks she's bigger than she is sometimes. She'll think, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So she's funny, you know, because she'd be like, I got to protect you sometimes. And I'd be like, nah, you don't. You're not going to be physically, this doesn't work out. But
I can try.
But she does try. If she thinks there's a problem, she'll try. So that's why she's my rider, my shooter, my hitter.
Well, that's what it is, Dame. Man, I really appreciate you taking the time. You know, hopefully everything works out for you.
Everything's been working out.
I would love to see it. I would love to see Harlem and Jim and you and Cam and even Jay, man. I think everybody would love to see you guys back together, man.
We don't have to be together. We could work on projects. We don't have to hang out.
Okay, well.
And please don't stop. Please, I want people not to take this grace as weakness or white flag or anything. It's just leading by example. I don't give a what y'all say. It's just not the right thing to do for us as a culture to keep beefing and up money. That's all. That's it.
I hear you.
All right, bro. I got to go. I got some shit to do. Appreciate you.
All right, bro. What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.